All right, what's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. Link will be in the description box below as usual. Go get it. PayPal link there also. They asked me to put it up, so I put it up. Thanks for supporting. But this video is entitled Don't Let Your Triggers Control You. There are things in life that is going to happen or has happened to you, and you can't let those things control you. Like if you have conversations, if you have interactions with people, and there are things that are from your past that they may or may not know about that trigger you to react, you can't let that control your interactions with other people. Well, you shouldn't. I can't say you can't, but you shouldn't. There's certain conversations that some people can't have, because of their triggers. There's certain words that people can't hear because of their triggers. There are certain things that people may tune out or read more into it than it is because of their triggers. Using that mother that was that lied about her children being molested. Her trigger was she got raped. So it was easy to believe that somebody would do that to a child because it happened to her. So she let that blind her and control the narrative of of a situation that wasn't a reality. I've been in situations with people where they were in, let's say, abusive relationships. Let's just say verbal. Let's just say somebody just talked to them crazy. They didn't like to hear certain words because the words reminded them of being talked crazy to by the other person. Had nothing to do with the conversations that we were having, but it was a trigger. And at certain points, if you let these triggers control you, you're going to look crazy. I mean, it's going to be understandable if the truth comes out, but the problem is a lot of times people aren't honest about things that trigger them. They're not honest about their truth, especially with people who don't know what's going on in your mind or what went on in your past. So they don't know what's causing you to go left because it looks out of the blue to them. To you, it might be normal, but to them, it's not normal. Sometimes we have a battle in our own mind that makes us not cognizant that we're around people who don't have a battle in their mind at the moment, or who can carry themselves better than you can if they're having a battle in their mind. Thus, when you have these interactions with people, and 1 minute is cool, the next minute, is not so cool, and then it's like nothing ever happened. See, when it's like nothing ever happened, you didn't acknowledge what happened when you went left, and that's because your trigger controls you. If you know what triggers you, and you go off and you say, you know what, I was tripping. I did this, and this, and it's due to this, and this. At least you can acknowledge where it started. There are too many people who want to be, just want to be whatever, like Peter Pan complex. You can act like a child forever, but the world around you is not going to be children. You get what I'm saying? Like, you're going to be dealing with adults who are not trying to who are not concerned about your childhood or your Peter Pan complex, and that's the problem, because we all have issues, we all have problems, we all have triggers, but society doesn't care about yours. You might need to go get some help for those. Thinking about it as like I don't like neckties. It's not gonna make me freak out. Back in the day I would freak out, but I don't like neckties because when I was young I got my throat cut, so it always made me uncomfortable. I would sweat, I would get irritable, I would be angry because I felt so confined, because I felt that the tie around my neck in the part of it where where you close it up to tighten it up is always like right on the spot. So people didn't know why I was like, I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to be around anybody. I just wanted to hurry up and get out of, not necessarily the dress clothes, but the necktie itself. That was a trigger for me because the constant feeling reminded me of getting my throat cut. So to some people, I came off as not unprofessional or low class because I wanted out of that tie even at the most inappropriate times. I just couldn't take it no more. Those people didn't know why. I would explain it, and it'll make sense to them. But in the moment, it's like, problem. But it's a trigger nonetheless. I've had people who, how can I say this, don't like certain colors because it reminds them, or certain songs because it may remind them of a traumatic experience, or the smell of smoke or the smell of alcohol on people because it reminds them of certain things, and that controls how they interact with people. You get people shutting down and you don't know why. And it makes interaction a little bit too much. Taking into consideration, like somebody might call something stupid. Somebody might have been called stupid their whole childhood, and now the word stupid just sends them through the roof. You're saying it as just a comment. They're reliving, a whole childhood in that split second, which is problematic. Same thing with, I remember, what was that movie? CIA, when The Rock was with Kevin Hart, but he always thought he was a fat kid, even though The Rock, The Rock is who The Rock is. He's swole as hell, but in the movie, he started out as a fat kid. So when people treated him like they treated him when he was a child, he fell back into that mode where he was just a fat kid who was helpless, but he could pretty much dominate all the people around him. It was just mentally, he was crippled. That's the same analogy people have been using recently with the elephant and the steak. By the time the elephant becomes an adult, it doesn't realize it can pull that steak out of the ground because, the steak triggers the memory that every time I used to fight against this steak, I could never move it and I was stuck right here. Thus letting your trigger control you because you never really in your true mental and physical state when you need to be, because something in the past is really holding you back. The white man is holding back your mental freedom, brother. Nah. But same thing when dealing with people in relationships, because me and a friend was talking about that, where you have a bad experience with a person in the past, and then you are on guard with everybody in your present and in your future that have nothing to do with it, because you're triggered by that bad experience in your past, and you're looking for that bad experience to replicate itself with pretty much anybody who comes across your path. They don't get what's going on with you because they don't know the depths of your ideology, your thinking, or what makes you revert to that mindset. And sometimes people look for people who remind them of that very thing that triggered them, to validate that, to validate why they quote unquote are protecting themselves, because they need to be comfortable and they need a villain to have a real excuse to protect themselves, because it becomes a mental problem where you really doing too much, and now you need to find what you're looking for because now you're looking crazy. So I'm out of here. I got things to do. I'm pushing it right now. Peace. Oh, like, share, subscribe. Right.